basement of La Penta. This is WICR.
Hello, Iona College. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe back again with you. Now, I usually come in every morning, try to do a little early show, but I'm squeezed for time. So I thought, why rush it this morning? There's too many things to get to. We had a cancellation, so I'm on today. Very happy to come on because I have a lot of things I really wanted to get to. Obviously, last night, the Mecca thing that just drove everything was the World Series Game 7. I've got to admit, I was in my glory last night. You had the NBA with a ton of games. After opening night, you had Game 7 of the World Series. It's just a great time to be a sports fan right now. A lot of things that really need to be watched. But last night, man, Madison Bumgarner, I just have so much respect for the guy. I really had no dog in this race, to be honest. Royals-Giants, I kind of could have cared less who would have won. But when Madison Bumgarner came on the mound last night, I was all in for the San Francisco Giants. Just what he showed was just something special. This was a historic thing that he did. This run he had, let me read you some of the numbers. In the World Series, Bumgarner was 2-0 with a 0.43 ERA, and last night he had the save. Last night he pitched a 5-inning perfect in a relief effort on 2 days rest. That is just incredible. And just the way he made it look so effortless was just amazing. The guy just is a gamer. You put him in the game, he does what he needs to do. He doesn't complain. He's not a diva. He's not a guy who's flashy. He doesn't have speed. He's just a guy who goes on the mound. It makes it look so effortless. It was truly just sensational to watch. It was amazing. I'm amazed by Madison Bumgarner. I've always been a fan of the guy. He's always been a guy I've always targeted in fantasy, so I've always been pretty aware of his numbers and how good he is. But the guy just, he's taken it to another level, and you look at this run in the postseason. He had 4 wins, 1 loss, a 1.3 ERA. He closed 2 games. He had 2 complete games. He had 2 shutouts. He had 1 save. That is sensational. Madison Bumgarner. You can't say enough about how just unbelievable this guy was. And for the Giants, 3rd World Series in 5 years. Just incredible. Not next year, but I guess we can pencil them in to win the World Series again after that. But the run they've been on has just been sensational. This isn't a team, I think we always look at teams trying to copy and replicate what some teams do. I don't think you can do that with a team like the Giants because they're built so differently. You look at this team offensively, they're doing it with guys like Hunter Pence, Pablo Sandoval, Buster Posey, all good players, but none of them are in the same level of the all-star caliber guys like a Robinson Cano, like a Mike Trout, like any of those guys, like Miguel Cabrera. There's no guys like that on this team. It's just timely hitting, guys who just live and just thrive off of the big spot. You watch Pablo Sandoval when the camera got in his face, he gave you the little wink. This is a guy who just was ready. He thrives in the moments like this. And Madison Bumgarner, he's become one of my new guys because, I'm just a fan of when I see greatness, and what he did this postseason was just remarkable. His toughness, just his just commitment to wanting to win, striving for greatness like that, it's just sensational. And Madison Bumgarner, the Giants, good for them. You look at them, everything that they did, unbelievable. Again, his stat line just for the Game 7, pitching 5 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and again, the 0.43 ERA. The big thing for that is I wasn't very confident about the Giants going to this game, especially not on Tim Hudson, and you saw the 2 runs the Royals got were against Tim Hudson, really didn't pitch that long at all. And you bring in Bumgarner on short rest, and it was a historic day for Major League Baseball. It really was, for this Game 7, for Bumgarner to just come in and dominate on 2-day short rest. You can't say enough about the guy. I was rooting for him, and it was a joy to watch. But we were also joined last night by a full slate of NBA games, and I was in my glory. I was going back and forth between the NBA, between baseball, but I gotta be honest, I was able to watch an entire Miami Heat game, and it was still the 6th inning for Major League Baseball, and that just shows you right there the problem Major League Baseball has. I shouldn't be able to watch an entire NBA game in the time it takes to get to 6 innings of baseball. I just should. I know it's the World Series, and it's a Game 7, so obviously the time's going to take a little bit longer, but I think that's just kind of a reflection of the problem with baseball right now. Is just why, if I can watch an entire NBA game and I've still got 4 innings to go in a baseball game, that's a lot of time I've got to commit. I watched an entire NBA game. I should not have been able to do that. But regardless, I enjoyed it. I watched I watched a couple NBA games, but the one I really paid the most attention to was the Miami Heat game. Heat beat the Wizards 107-95, and Chris Bosh. I said it when we did our predictions on Monday. I think he's going to power the Miami Heat to have a tremendous year, and I got some disagreements over that, but look at the East. The East is not good. Aside from 1 and 2, which we all know are Cleveland and Chicago, it's really anybody. I mean, after that you pencil in the Heat, the Hornets, the Wizards, the Raptors will make some noise. But that's even those, there's really no sure thing in any of those. The Nets look like they take a step back. The Knicks, no one knows. I mean, you think maybe they'll have something going, but even after last night, you just see, I mean, defensively, they've still got problems. They look like they're going to definitely try to put more of an emphasis on moving the ball, which I was very surprised in actually seeing Carmelo pass the ball to people, but that's going to take time. And you have teams like the Pistons, weird teams. There's really no clear-cut team. And Miami's a team full of veterans like Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Luol Deng. They've got a head coach who's won NBA titles. They're just surrounded with guys who've been there and done that. And I think that's going to be a big thing. I have them as the 3rd seed, but you look at Chris Bosh last night, 26 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists. The guy just had an unbelievable game. And here's what I really like about Chris Bosh. He's the man in Miami now after LeBron leaves, and he played like it. I think he gets it. Chris Bosh is such a smart guy. He knows that the Heat are going to live and die by him. He has to be the leader on the offensive end. He has to be the leader on the defensive end. You look at the Heat the last 2 years, they were the worst team in the NBA at rebounding the basketball. But we all understand why, because of the roster, the way it was shaped, they just didn't have room for a center, and Chris Bosh was playing out of center, but that's not really where he thrives. And last night you saw Chris Bosh is returning 26 points, shooting the threes, shooting comfortably all over the floor, getting the rebounds, getting teammates involved. Can't say enough about how happy I was seeing Chris Bosh play like this, because he's a good guy, Chris Bosh. He's a smart guy. There's really nothing not to like about the guy. He plays hard. He plays really well. I mean, he's just a good teammate, a good guy to have in the NBA, and I'm wishing him the best. You also look at Norris Cole, 23 points, 3 assists. I like it. One of the benefits for the Heat is they have a very good plethora of point guards. You have Shabazz Napier, they drafted out of UConn, returning Mario Chalmers, and Chalmers isn't great, but he's a guy who's won it. I mean, he's a serviceable point guard, and in this league, those are very important. And then Norris Cole's very young, definitely has a lot of room to improve, and he looks like he's ready to take the next step. I think if you put him in the starting lineup, you've got something good. You put Shabazz behind him to learn behind, you've got a good thing going there. It looks like Shane Williams, they pick up in the offseason, is going to help with the rebounding as well. Dwayne Wade, though, I mean, we all know it. He has just declined rapidly before our eyes, and you saw it again today. I mean, you just don't know about this guy. I mean, he had a little scare where he maybe tweaked a hamstring and he came out for a little bit. He did come back, and he finished the game pretty strong, actually. Hit 2 threes at the end of the game, so he scored the majority of his points in the 4th quarter, which shows something, but I think at the end of the day, you've got to be concerned about Dwayne Wade. You just don't know if this guy is going to be the consistent guy we're used to seeing. There's no question he's rapidly declining, but I like this Heat team. I think they're poised to have a very good year. Before that game started, I got to catch a little bit of the Hornets and the Bucks. Early in the game, the Bucks were really at a nice lead, but the Hornets came back. Kemba Walker earned that 4-year, $48 million extension, hitting the game winner in overtime. I was really excited because I'm just thrilled to see that Buzz City is back. The Charlotte Hornets, the colors, their jerseys. It is so nice. I mean, come on. The Charlotte Bobcats were miserable. Everything about them stunk. Their play on the court stunk. Their players stunk. Everything. Their uniforms, their logo, the building, it all was just awful. It is so good. It's such a welcome return to see Buzz City back in action. And I was really liking what I was watching. I mean, look, Al Jefferson was just doing what he always does. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was playing well. Knocked down some early shots. I think if he takes a step forward, this team is definitely a legit contender to be that 4th spot in the East. Kemba, we know what he's going to do. He gets better every year. Very good point guard. Al Jefferson's probably the best center in the league. You add Lance Stevenson, and then you get a 4th nice player like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist developing. You got something really good going there with the Hornets. So I really like what they're going there. Lance, the thing I like too a lot in that game, early, he was really trying to get the teammates involved. Now, I think that part of the reason the score got a little away from the Hornets was because he was being too passive, and he needed to be a little bit more aggressive offensively, but I like that. I like that he came out of the gate. He's trying to get his teammates involved. I definitely think Steve Clifford and Lance Stevenson are a perfect combination, a perfect marriage. Lance Stevenson is going to have a very good year with the Charlotte Hornets. And then we're looking around the NBA again. I did get to catch the late ESPN game. You with the Portland Trailblazers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, Damian Lillard is just my man. When Damian Lillard is playing, I'm watching, and it's tough because these Trailblazers games kill you with sleep. 10 o'clock, they usually end around 1, but I had to watch Damian Lillard's first game, and I mean, look, the Thunder really had a pretty good control of this game. They came out of the gate early. Russell Westbrook had 38 points, played a very good game, but you just see with the Thunder, without Durant, and even with Durant, there's just not a lot of depth on this team. You look around, and I mean, you have guys like Jeremy Lamb, Reggie Jackson, good players, okay players, but the depth on this team is just not good. That front line, like, I love Serge Ibaka, I like Russell Westbrook with Kevin Durant, but Kendrick Perkins provides no offense at all. There's just not depth on this team, and it just shows you how much of the duties that Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant have to carry. I mean, Ibaka too, but there's just not enough depth on this team, I think, for them even this year to win an NBA championship. Can they reach the finals? Maybe. I mean, in the West, I think it's Clippers, Thunder, and Spurs. But the Clippers and the Spurs have way more depth than the Thunder do. I just can't see the Thunder winning a championship until they add more pieces to this team. I really don't. They really need a couple more just better players, guys who can just give you a spark off the bench. I mean, guys like Jeremy Lamb just aren't going to cut it right now. Steve Adams, I just don't like the depth of the Thunder. But you did have the Portland Trailblazers winning, and I'm a big fan of what Portland's doing. I really think that they're just on the rise. They've got a good core of young players. LaMarcus Aldridge has been a very good player for a long time, so he's the vet there. You have guys like Nicholas Batum and Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard, though, worried me a little bit. I mean, he did have a rough start to this game, but the big thing that brought me back is in the fourth quarter when it was a closer game, he just thrived. His shots were falling. He was making the plays at the end of the game when it mattered most. In his third year, he's going to continue to grow and just get even better. Rip City is definitely getting somewhere. I said it last year, they remind me a lot of a young Golden State team a couple years ago. When the Warriors really started to emerge, they were built very similarly to the Portland Trailblazers, and the Trailblazers have good stuff. I mean, they have a good center. Robin Lopez is playing well. He's a serviceable guy. They bring in free agents like Steve Blake, which is a perfect change of pace guard with Damian Lillard. They have Chris Kaman, another serviceable center there. So they have a lot of good pieces with the Portland. The West is very difficult, though, but I mean, look at Portland. I think they're very capable of earning the 4th or 5th seed. Things are going very well there. That fan base is terrific. No one pays attention to the Portland Trailblazers because of where they are, especially where we are in New York as well. But the Trailblazers have an electric fan base, very supportive of the team. The playoff run last year was electric. I think the fans are going to continue to show up because it's a good team. It's worth going there to watch these guys play. So it's very nice to see for the fans because they got a good thing going on there in Portland. I really like it. But that's wrapping it up. Tonight is it, though. It's the Mecca. It's what we've all been waiting for. The return of King James to Cleveland, and it is just going to be so exciting. I mean, I've been waiting all summer for opening day. I watched a lot of preseason Cavalier basketball, but it's just going to be beautiful. I mean, and there was recently today, part of the big news is LeBron James opens a poll on if he should bring back the chalk toss. I kind of like it for LeBron. I mean, he's very wants to see what the fans want from him. For the changing back the number, he asked fans what they wanted. They wanted 23. He did what the fans wanted, went back to 23. If the fans want the chalk toss, let's be honest, everyone wants the chalk toss back. He's going to bring it back. So you know what? It's hard to see fans not voting to bring back the chalk toss. Everyone just feeding off the excitement of him being back. I think the chalk toss will be back, and LeBron James is going to be very nice to see. But tonight, I think it's just going to be really fun to watch. I mean, the Knicks coming off the loss to the Bulls last night, going to Cleveland, that's very tough after their first loss. So I think the Knicks will lose this game. Just there's too much electricity, too much buzz around the Cavs right now. It might not be the prettiest game in the world for the Cavs, because look, folks, it's going to take time to gel. They're not just going to start off right away just blowing people out by 20 points a game, knocking down every shot in the world. It's going to take time to build chemistry. It's going to take time to buy in on defense, to get really committed on ball movement. But this team, when things start to gel, 2 months from now, they will be the best team in the East. There's no question about it. Just the talent alone. The only things keeping them from being the best team in the East right now is ball movement and defense, and that comes with experience. That comes with playing together. That will be corrected, but I could not be more excited to watch this game tonight. We've got a very good night of sports, and we got Florida State in Louisville. Thursday night football, the Saints and the Panthers. But for me, the main thing that I refuse to take my eyes off of is this game right here. The Cleveland Cavaliers at home, their first game of the season against the New York Knicks. You can also catch them tomorrow. On Halloween, they're going to be playing the Chicago Bulls. Phenomenal early season matchup, but the main one here, you've got tonight, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'll be talking Cleveland Cavaliers all year, but I just cannot wait for this game. It's going to be so exciting to see the fans welcoming LeBron back. I think it's going to be such a nice reception, and it's going to be so good to see him feed off of, because he's back. It's his hometown. He couldn't be happier to be doing this, and I just think seeing all the pieces for the first time, going to be very fun. So tonight, definitely catch that game. I will be back with another segment, NFL picks for this week. We're rolling along with the picks. Another good week last week. Got a little short robbed on that Cowboys game on Monday night, which kind of prevented me from having the double-digit wins. But let's be honest, folks. There's no person in America who picked the Redskins to win that game with Colt McCoy. So I'm not really too upset about that one. But this week, a very good schedule of games. Excellent in the college front and the NFL front. So I'll be back with picks for both. So stay with me, and I will be right back.
When you gave your love to me, you changed my life. Dreams that once seemed hopeless.